Welcome to the Game Corner, another video game podcast. My name is Harrison. You might know me online as Roy Rickson, and I am joined, as always, by friend and co-host.
This is Sheldon. You probably know me as Captain Yanova.
How you doing?
Good, man. How you doing?
Pretty good. Remember how last episode I was talking about buying a house?
Yeah.
Which we recorded 2 weeks ago, and then later than normal. And then I still didn't get out until this past week, kind of on time. And there was a weird thing, if you happen to see that I published it and then pulled the episode because I don't know what happened with the sound thing. It exported weird from DaVinci, but the project was fine, and I have no idea what happened. So that's very fun. But anyway, that was like 2 weeks ago. 2 days ago from recording. No, yesterday. 2 days from the episode comes out. We canceled the contract.
Jeez.
It was not going well. There was a lot of weird stuff happening with that. So there's a whole lot of just the seller not wanting to cooperate.
Better to get out of it early.
No, this wasn't even early. Honestly, this was like the very end of our inspection and like due diligence period. Mm-hmm. And boy, was it just drawn out for no reason.
Yeah.
For no reason was it drawn out. And it was bad. So we're not doing that. So this will be the background that you see in my videos, my face cam for a little bit longer.
Yeah, but you don't want to just settle on a house because that could.
It would have been a money pit.
Yeah.
That's not fun. Good. Anything new and fun with you?
Couple things. I got hired on by a little indie studio for a little part-time kind of work.
You mentioned that in Discord a little bit. What is that? Tell me all the things.
So I'll be working as a game designer for him. Don't know exactly what kind of project I'll be working on, and won't be able to like talk about what the project is or anything. Ooh. I know, not fun, but it will be making a game. So it's a indie startup. So
I was gonna say, do they have anything done so far? Like, have they?
Not yet. They got a few games that they've had in development for about a year now, and they're working on some mobile games too. So
this is a small indie game dev startup.
I want to say small, but it's actually not pretty small. They got quite a few people on.
I don't know what to expect for a size of a studio.
Yeah. So I think they said they're gonna have about like 10 teams working.
Really?
Yeah. So, but they're grabbing people from like all over the world. They're trying to do like a remote studio.
Okay.
Setup. It's different, but just get some experience. That'll be fun.
This is all because like you have been doing your classes for game dev stuff. You have even started making your own little game, your TCGS game.
Yeah.
How did you land this gig?
LinkedIn.
Really?
Yep.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. So that's one thing I'm just starting to do is like things like this, internships, everything. I just apply. I apply to everything. I had an interview too. I haven't heard back from since it, but it was for like designing education courses, which is not video game design, but it's still in a design realm. So
I have a good friend of mine is a teacher and actually wants to transition to have that be their full job.
Yeah,
is like course design and not so much teaching in the classroom because kids suck sometimes.
I get it.
So that's interesting. I wonder how that would fare from just a strictly design standpoint versus someone who has like educational experience.
Yeah, if I hear back from him, I'll find out more about that. It was interesting because like there was me, like game dev side, like, and everyone else in the like it was like a group interview.
Okay.
Everyone else was teachers. I was like, I feel like I don't belong here.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I appreciate that feeling.
But they are also trying to like make an app and stuff. So there is a need for programmers and stuff like that in it too.
Interesting.
But it's also a startup, so
Okay.
They only had like a couple of paid positions right now, but they said they plan on expanding. You know, that's always the
Is your
journey
game
anyway.
dev thing paid?
If a game ships and sells.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah,
incentive to
so basically
make
it's
product good.
working. Yeah, it's working for equity in whatever games you work on.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's
So do you get like well, I want to say royalties, unless if that's the right word, but like do you get like revenue based off of how the
yes,
game does?
yes,
Interesting.
yeah. So like the way they're setting it up, and I mean it sounds like a lot. Like they're setting aside 80% of the sales to go towards the dev team
Oh,
for like to start off anyway, because they can't offer people like salaried positions right now. So
interesting. And you said it was only a couple hours a week.
yeah, it's like they said they expected like 10 hours a week.
Not too bad.
Not bad at all.
Yeah. Especially if it's fun. If it's like stuff that you enjoy, stuff you want to learn, stuff like all.
Yeah, and get the
if it-
experience. That's the big thing for me is just getting the experience. So
Sure. Interesting.
yeah, it'll be fun.
So
And and also I did get an actual paid thing too, being a moderator for Game Rant.
for who? For what?
Game Rant,
What's that?
one of the game review companies,
Oh
like
wait,
magazine. Game Rant.
Game Rant. Oh
Yeah.
wait, really?
Yeah,
What? How? What are you doing?
tell you, LinkedIn and apply to everything.
How, what are you moderating for Game Rant?
Their forums.
Interesting. That's a paid position.
Yeah. Just
Amazing.
a little extra change. I was like, yeah, that'll be something I could do from my phone. That'll be easy.
Okay, that's kind of cool. Hey, you can learn all the industry secrets to having a
Yes.
gaming blog, and then we can direct people to gamecorner.gg and grow that. And I promise you, it is in the back of my mind to actually write a post. I have started a post. I started drafting a post like 2 or 3 times already for this, and I just obviously haven't completed it because life. That's a different story.
One day.
One day. I mean, yeah, interesting. That's wild. That's actually like way more exciting is a word, but like it's way more exciting and prevalent to what we're talking about sense.
Yeah.
Just in general, because of video games.
Video games. Yep. Trying to move my career more towards that,
Yeah.
and not just a hobbyist.
I mean, yeah, that's fair. That's on that note, topic for the day, topic for the week for this episode. I've had this idea. This idea came to me in a dream, actually like late last year. And then I finally started to do something with this, but you actually brought up the idea for this week's episode topic to be talking about this, which is the first couple hours of a video game and how important it is to have that be good, be captivating, be grasping, have that hook for the player. And this is all stemming from I'm slowly working. I need to get my workflow down for this to actually get it done faster. And once I get one out, it'll be a little nicer to the second one. But I'm working on a review series that focuses on just the first 2 hours of a game. And that number comes from the fact that it is, of course, Steam's return policy is 2 hours of game time. But that being said, it's still important to, like I said, have your game grasp the attention of your players. What's your just kind of knee-jerk opinion about like the first, again, couple hours of any video game? Like, what do you think there should be?
So I guess there's actually like quite a few things I feel like you need in the start of a good like video game. So you need to be able to grab your attention, whether that's cinematics, something, art, something that brings you into the game to begin with. But then you need a tutorial of some type. Like every game needs some type of tutorial. But that tutorial can't be too long, can't be too boring.
yeah, there's certainly a there's certainly a pacing thing you have to worry about when you are tutorializing any part of a game. And I do think that go on.
Oh, I was saying, even if you don't have like a full blown railroad tutorial, like then like your world needs to be like immersive enough right from the get go. Like, not just.
Oh, I think you could easily hide a tutorial and the tutorialization of your game if you have pretty good immersive world building storytelling type thing. I think that is the term immersive storytelling. Is that what I'm thinking of? Or there's another good term I heard recently and I don't remember what it is right now. But yeah, I agree with all of that. And I do think that when you're looking at certain games, you have, a whole other topic could be talking about the genreification of games and how different games can fall into but they all fall into some genre, but genres exist. And I think the beginning of certain genres could also be different, right?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, depending on like the mechanics of the game, some mechanics, like games, you need to like have that, like, okay, this is how you do this, X, Y, and Z moments.
Yes.
And others, the tutorial is the game. So if it's like a survival sandbox kind of game, you just kind of learn as you go. Like, oh, I need to chop wood. Okay, how do I chop wood? And you get up to it and it will tell you, oh, you do this to chop wood.
I mean, Minecraft is a great example of that. I mean, at least a long time ago when I played Minecraft for the first time, there was no tutorial. It was, whoop, there you are. Everything's a cube. Go have fun.
But whenever you get up to something you need to do, something pops up saying, press this to do this. So, so it's not a tutorial in the, traditional sense, but
the tool
still
tells
help. You, there's something to tell you, oh, okay, I needed to do this.
That's a good point. Did you ever actually jump into Helldivers?
Yes. Yeah, I did when it first came out.
For that game?
Yeah.
What was it?
Actually, no, there wasn't one, was there?
There was one.
There was one? I don't remember.
So
there was. Yeah, okay, yeah.
I mean, so
okay,
Helldivers. So again, for those of you who might not be aware of the hit game from last year, Helldivers, it's a very tongue-in-cheek
Starship Troopers,
Starship Troopers-esque game.
Yeah. It's a parody, like of
satire of patriotism. But the tutorial of the game is what you were just talking about, where it's like, this game just shows you press X to do Y, right? And in the writing of that game, where it has, again, it's full of satirical, like hyper patriotic, like
the verbiage, like the verbiage and everything. Yeah, just how they say things. Yeah, it's really good, well done. That is.
Yeah, and they take that story and then they put you through what is almost like a boot camp for the Helldivers, and that as they teach you how to aim and shoot a gun, reload, throw a grenade, call in stratagems, help a teammate. Don't shoot your teammate, shoot only the bugs or the robots, like all the things that like it kind of goes through. It's very clearly, very obviously a tutorial. But it fits in with the world and the gameplay, because it is the gameplay for Helldivers is very drop into a map, do an objective, and leave. It's a extraction shooter. Yep. So having almost like a short level that is just get to the objective and leave tutorial boot camp thing, it fits in, right? Yep. It's a good tutorial, and that part only lasts 15 minutes maybe. Yeah. Right. And then
that's not enough for a tutorial too.
Like, for a tutorial for that kind of game. Yes. Yeah. Because there are other games like some management games, like we both have been playing 2 Point Campus as of late. Spoilers. But that I went 2 hours into that game and I still felt like I was in this tutorial.
I feel like every level is almost a tutorial, because
they keep
like
adding
the way in that
names.
Like the little campaign, because they keep adding. So it's like, okay, you do this to do that. Yeah.
So
but it's always a progression though. It's a building, which is different.
Well, because that's a game like a management game like that is a game full of systems, right?
Yeah.
So you're always going to be introduced to the next part of the system or the next system on top of whatever you've already been doing. So those tutorials last a long time. And while, you might for that game be in the tutorial for over 2 hours, that doesn't mean that it's any better or worse than the 15-minute tutorial from Helldivers, right? It's just the example of different genres having different tutorials. Yeah.
But yeah, it's an important thing though, because it's the old cliche of, you only get one chance at a first impression.
That's true though.
And yeah, that the opening, like even the first hour, like not even to the full 2 hours, can be make or break for a lot of games. First 15 minutes can be make or break for a video game. Because if I am bored to tears in the first 15 minutes, or like if it's nothing but cinematics and you just walk across a hallway or something for a game and that's it for the first like 15 to 30 minutes.
Do you watch anime? I have to presume.
Yes.
Have you heard the thing of like, oh, this is a great anime, give it 5 episodes and it gets good or whatever?
Like 130 if you're watching One Piece. Like,
yeah. I mean, a lot of things like that. Like, I mean, it goes beyond anime, but I know it's very common and popular with anime. But that doesn't like that. I think anime shows, etc., they have a little bit of a leeway because they're very passive entertainment.
Yes.
But I feel like if it is an active entertainment thing, like a video game where you are, you have input to what's happening, you control the characters, you have missions to, you're playing a game versus just watching a show. You have to have a little bit more. You can't have that. Give it 5 episodes, give it 5 levels to get good. That doesn't work. I don't think.
And if it does, it's the exception to the rule,
Yeah.
But because
I can't think of one that does.
But imagine you're sitting down to play. Actually, this happened to me and my wife the other day. She downloaded. What did she download off of the PlayStation Store? I think it was Wolfenstein 2.
Okay. Yeah.
That game starts off so slow with cinematics and all. Like, you literally just walk a few steps and then it's another 5-10 minutes of cinematics, just like 4 or 5 of them back to back. You're like an hour of cinematics to start the game.
Okay.
Maybe not an hour, but
yeah,
still, it felt like it. Like, it was just so much, and it's throwing so much at you as far as the story, but you're not doing anything. At all. And that just kind of it's like, and especially you're playing a game that's supposed to be at this, you're supposed to be shooting Nazis, that's the whole thing of the game. And yet that's what I want to do when I start the game. I don't want to sit through all this. Let's get to the point.
So how far have y'all gotten into Wolfenstein?
Oh, not far.
Are you past the cinematic movie?
Just into the very beginning.
Okay, so
of the game, didn't get too far into it.
Give me 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour. Where do you think you are?
We probably played it for about 45 minutes to an hour.
Okay, so, and if most of that was cinematic and you haven't really done any gameplay, do you think that's a bad first impression? Like a bad?
Yes, it was a very bad. It uninstalled it off of my PlayStation.
Oh, you gave up on it?
Yeah, just completely.
That's exactly what it is, right? Like it's a terrible example of a start.
Because if that
because I'm pretty sure Wolfenstein 2 is a good game.
Probably.
So it's kind of shocking that it doesn't start that way.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting I guess narrative aspects of it. It's a nice little story kind of thing. I mean, nice as that game could be.
Sure.
But it just, if you're wanting to play a game, you're sitting, okay, I have an hour. Let's try out this new game. And you're half of it just watching something and not actually involved in the gameplay.
It's you want that active entertainment. It's not
exactly.
It's not.
So if I wanted to watch a show, I would have watched a show. If I would have gone into it expecting a narrative-driven game, be different.
So, I mean, that's a good point. Let's talk about a very narrative-driven game, Baldur's Gate 3. We've all played Baldur's Gate 3. By we all, I mean the two of us. If Rowan was here, he would agree. But the opening to that is very good. It's very exciting. Yes. It's a very strong hook to the game right away as you are on the Nautilus flying through hells and everything, and then crash land on the Sword Coast somewhere, wherever it is. And then suddenly you're like, oh, I gotta escape, and there's a fire, and I gotta fight this big demon dude, and oh my gosh, all this stuff, right? So like that's a good hook, and the game at that point, there's nothing to it, right? You don't have all your abilities. You're a level 1 character trying to figure out how to free these couple of companions, whatever, and go. So you get the first, I mean, and maybe in the first hour or two, you can actually end up at the Grove and start to get a lot of that story and really opens up.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, a great example of you have limited systems. Like I said before, with like management games and more complicated RPGs, you have limited systems in the beginning, but it's still enough to be very interesting. And then you take that forward to into the story, right? You have the narrative hooks, the actual narrative hooks that get you to you want to keep playing, and the gameplay only expands with it.
Yeah. And in that game too, like that game's a master class of a game anyway.
Yes. It's a terrible example because it's so good.
It like, just because along the whole way, it's breadcrumbs of, oh, you can do this over here. Oh, but what's that? And there's something to do no matter which way you go. It can always kind of end up in the same spot, but there's just always something to do. Like even on the Nautilus, there's options.
A bunch of nooks and crannies and things to interact with. And
or do you want to try and kill the demons? Go for it. Like you can try.
Do you want a really OP sword at the beginning of the game?
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah, but you can try to do it. Like,
yeah,
so like it's not too straightforward, but at the same time, you're getting yelled at. Go push the button. Like,
right. Like it still has enough that push to get you to do what the game wants you to do. Well, it's tough to say that game specifically doesn't want you to do anything.
Yeah.
There's a story you can follow.
But it can give you a shove.
Yeah.
In the right, in a certain direction.
Yeah. But yeah, so I don't know. I think it's looking at different. Obviously, it's you can have different examples, and we can if we wanted to go through. I'm looking at my Steam library trying to find like another good example to talk about that I can like, oh, this would be a fun thing. Actually, here we go. No Man's Sky. Have you played that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the beginning of that game, that game's tutorial, there we go, has actually changed a lot over the years as they've added more and more stuff to it. They've actually gone through, I think, 1 or 2 changes, so 2 or 3 iterations of the tutorial, but it is very sandbox game, right? Sandbox universe of a game. Yeah. And honestly, it's gotten massive in the last 8 years of all the updates. But the tutorial very much says you need carbon, or you need to fix your ship, or you need this, and it's very much like, here's your goal, go do this. And go on.
Oh, I was going to say it's very like, I guess, real world feeling, like you're crash landed and you need to fix your ship.
Yeah, so it's not story heavy, right?
Yeah.
There is a story in No Man's Sky, and there's stuff you can follow, but that one very much is, look at the environment around you. You're kind of borked unless you fix your stuff, and here's how you do it. Like there's not hiding that fact. It's just you have to walk along like a ways to do things. You have to explore. So it's forcing you to see more of the game right away. And honestly, the first like 15, 30 minutes of that game, there isn't, you can get off world and go start to explore and see more things. You can get past the tutorial, the very heavy tutorial part, very quickly, I think. But then it just opens up to, here's the universe, go play.
Yeah.
Right. Which, if you're in that first 2-hour period, right, that for initial gameplay stuff, it's tough to, that itself could still be very intimidating, because now it just opens up wide open, go do something.
Yep. Yeah. I enjoy games like that, but like I'll use my wife as an example for these kind of games a lot. She's not into open world too much because of that reason. She likes when she sits down and play a video game, she kind of likes it to be, she likes linear.
Checklist?
Yeah. She likes missions. She likes a checklist. But like, if you're just like, that Skyrim something where it's just, here's the world.
Yeah.
Go figure out what you got to do. Like, that's just too much.
A little bit much, yeah.
But I mean, some of these games are successful for a reason because enough people don't get intimidated by it too much
and know what to look for, right? Like,
and they expect it most of the time. Most of the people that enjoy it expect it,
and that goes into the genre stuff that we kind of talked about earlier. Yeah. Like, there's you go into a game knowing the genre. If you are familiar with video games and you've played this genre, right? So you can know, like, oh, an open world survival game, I know what to expect in the first couple of hours. So now you get to have that background as a video game player, having played, if I've played, let's take two examples from last year again, Enshrouded and Palworld. Both of those are survival sandbox games, taking great, taking genre cues from Ark Survival Evolved. So all three of those games, you're gonna end up somewhere. You got to go punch a tree to get wood, and you're gonna start slowly learning the mechanics of the game, right? Because each of those games have different mechanics on top of being tree punchers. But you know what that first 30 minutes to 2 hours looks like because you played that genre before.
And even if you haven't, like, at least like with Palworld, because I played that a lot.
Yeah.
It still gives you enough to push you in the direction that you need to do. So like, because it does give you like, okay, now you need to build this to level up and get an upgrade of your base. Well, doing that kind of progresses you through the game.
Yeah, it does. Again, it's a tutorialization, and it gives you those tool tips and those what's what I'm looking for, cues to go and do the next thing, whatever that is.
I was trying to think of a bad example.
Wolfenstein.
Yeah, no, but I was trying to think. I'll say another one that I was looking through some games, but I remember one game, and I remember enjoying the game when I was younger, but like I've seen like more modern reviews of it and stuff, and I can see it was Final Fantasy VIII. Did you ever play Final Fantasy VIII?
I don't
one
think
with the gun blades.
No.
That game, you have to play that game for about 20 hours before you even get to the main part of the game, like actually play the game. The tutorial is pretty much 20 hours. It was like a full disc on the original PlayStation.
Things measured in discs.
Yeah. Like, it's like a game that's like, what, 4 or 5 discs? And the first, like, the whole tutorial, like 20 hours of gameplay is one whole disc. Like, it was crazy. Like,
yeah, I did not play Final Fantasy VIII, but it's a Final Fantasy game. So does the story hold up to get you through 20 hours of tutorials?
To a point. A little bit. Mm-hmm. The story does, but the problem with that game too was mechanics and all were wonky.
Sure.
Like, because it was a scalable game, so you were actually rewarded for not leveling up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that game was broken. But yeah, that's a whole thing. But like, I can appreciate a grind. I get that for JRPGs, anything like that. Mm-hmm. But that one was, I guess, a little egregious, even for the genre.
Sure. I think of Final Fantasy and I think of Final Fantasy and I think of grinds. It's just a classic JRPG style of game.
Yeah, which like I said, I'm fine with that. I love grinding some games. It's just kind of therapeutic sometimes just to sit there and grind
turn your
some
brain
levels.
off and
Yeah.
yes, make numbers go up.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
get
but sometimes like if you're not even into the actual game yet and you've already put in,
20 hours is pretty rough.
Yeah, playing a game for like a month and you're still like in the opening area, that's a little much.
And if you can't see the progress, right? So I think as we kind of round out this main topic, I was trying to think of like what are things that I want to see or expect or that I think make a good opening to a game. Yeah. Right? Like if I were just to bullet point that list, what would it be? And I think and I realized, I was kind of like casually thinking about this topic for like the last 2 days since you said it, trying to prepare for this episode. And it's funny because like only in recording, while in this episode, I had the thought of like, oh, wait a second, it changes massively per genre, right? It's actually a really important thing that I hadn't considered until just now. So all of my thoughts are out the window. But it does have to, I think saying it has to have a hook is way too generic.
But it is
true.
Yeah. It's something needs to hook you into the game, whether that be the story, the graphics, the mechanics.
This is the point. Yes. It can, that hook can be different things because you're going to play different games for different reasons.
Yep.
And a well-designed game understands what its genre is and what that genre's first impression needs to be, right?
Yeah.
If it's a story game, it has that good narrative hook. If it's a mechanics game, if it's an arcade shooter like Helldivers, you want to get into that first Helldive ASAP. You want to see the funny tone that they have in the tutorial is great, but you're not really playing the game. You're learning the button mechanics of it. And then you go into your first Helldive, and now you're in the game, and they want to get you there as fast as possible. Because that's how the game plays.
And they do that.
Yeah, they do.
Like, which is great. Like that's how it should be done. Like the tutorial is entertaining. Like it's a necessary evil that they knew they had to include for new players, pretty much everybody. But even if you knew all the mechanics already in the gameplay from like previous Helldivers,
well, that's different. The first Helldiver game was
I never
2D.
played that one. Yeah. Oh, well, you know what I mean? Like,
right?
Yeah. Like extraction shooter. Like it's still the same basic game loop and gameplay.
Yeah. Everyone who's played one of these games knows that WASD gets you to move directions. You have mouse for aiming. Shift makes you run faster. All these things, right? Like those are pretty standard across the industry now.
But you still have to account for new players.
You have to account for new players.
But that's why the tutorial has to be entertaining as well for, people that don't necessarily need to tell you.
Yeah. Wait. I think you're going to make the same point. Or finish your thought.
Yeah. I was saying that like you still need to make it entertaining for returning player, for veteran player. Yeah. So, but that's a good example. Yeah. Helldivers 2 is a great example of that.
Yes.
Because it gives you the comedy, you fight some bugs. Like, I think I died in the tutorial.
It does actually, I think it kills you.
Yeah, it does on purpose, doesn't it?
Yeah. So when you know how to land too.
Yeah.
It's hard, but because you don't.
But it shows they do a good job of showing. It shows the drops, like you said, different weapons,
mechanic.
Everything. It shows you in a very short little spurt, and then as soon as you get done with that, you're dropping into the actual game.
Yep. Yeah. So that's very good. A narrative game, very good. Let's actually hold on. Why have we not talked about Pokemon yet?
Yeah.
Pokemon has the same, every mainline Pokemon game has the same opening.
They've gotten better too, though. I will say that recently than old ones.
So that's fair. Because they've introduced a modicum of story. A little bit, but you always wake up, talk to your rival, companion person.
Gotta talk to your mom.
Talk to your mom. You go off. You do something happens. Then you pick your starter, and then you go on your adventure. Right. In the same thing of like genre stuff. Obviously, that's always the same. You know what to expect when you start a Pokemon game. If you're a veteran player. I think everything that we're saying is like asterisk veteran player knows.
Yes.
But yeah, you know that, and it's, I guess it's hard. It is a little hard to be objective about it, because obviously, like, we like Pokemon games, but it is an opening that you know what it's going to be, and it does everything it has to. It still introduces you to the mechanics. You have your first battle. You understand type effectiveness right away, because your rival always picks the type you're strong against.
Yeah.
Yada yada yada. So that's all good. It still does the tutorial stuff, right? And then by the time you get to your first or second gym, you've pretty much seen all the mechanics of that Pokemon game. And I think that's good, right? When you get into a longer RPG style of game like that, you're going to take longer than Helldivers to tutorialize something. But if you need to keep that interest and you need to feed the player those tutorial things, aspects, whatever, at a pace that is conducive to keeping your interest and still learning and still advancing.
Yeah, something Pokemon has suffered from, I feel like, especially in the past, is the pacing aspect of tutorials and all. Because before, like, Scarlet and Violet, I felt like was probably the quickest paced one we've ever had.
That feels right, but I don't know if that's just because I know when I played it pretty quickly, and I was on stream.
Yeah.
So I was like, it kind of felt fast, but I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like it feels like the pacing's better on that one compared to, especially the older ones. Like, you go back to before we went 3D, but even then, wasn't Sun and Moon wasn't that long?
Wow. Yeah, I don't remember last Tuesday. You want me to remember Sun and Moon?
Yeah. But I just felt like Pokemon has suffered from that as far as like, okay, I'm going to show you how to throw a Pokeball. Like, it needed. It's one thing I would like in these kind of games, especially like JRPGs with a lot of like replayability, is give me an option. It's like, do you know how to do this? Yes, and you can skip.
Because we have played every generation and we've grown up alongside Pokemon, and like we know what it is.
Yeah.
The community's been asking for that for Pokemon for years. Yeah. And there are a lot of games, not that I can think of one right now, that lets you like totally skip a tutorialized area.
I want to say Dragon Quest did when I played through Dragon Quest 11.
I've been meaning to play that game. Is it good?
Very good game.
That's what I keep hearing. I need to play it.
It is so good. And then like the replayability of it too, because like it's so good.
Okay. I'm pretty sure it's installed on my Steam Deck, and it has been for probably a couple years now. I've just never actually started it.
It's actually really good. It's a really good RPG.
Well, maybe I'll play the first 2 hours and come back to it for a discussion. What were we saying? JRPGs have Pokemon for sure has a very expected tutorial opening. Yeah. Right. But you get, so the good side, right? If you're looking at Scarlet and Violet, by the time you're 2 hours in, you're probably just getting to the school, or maybe at the school at that point. But you have talked to Nimona, you have had that battle, you've seen her excitement, you've gotten your Koraidon or Miraidon, whatever Pokemon you're riding. You've had a lot of those. You've seen the start of each of the 3 stories. I think in that time, which that's the narrative hook, right? That's what Scarlet and Violet does really well, is it says, hey, here are the 3 stories you'll be following through this game. One of them hopefully will be interesting to you at least. Yeah. So, yeah, I think there's because you don't even gym until you go on your treasure hunt.
Until the treasure hunt starts.
Maybe, I think it gives you the prologue.
Arwen or whatever. Arwen, you meet him at the lighthouse. Yep. Nimona, you battle her, and then
you see Penny on the stairs.
On the stairs up to the school.
Okay, so you do.
So you meet them, and then you get the quest as soon as you get.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Go through that whole cutscene.
But all of that still is within the first 2, maybe 3 hours of the game, right? Like
depends on how much you run around and explore.
How much you want to grind in your Pokemon game at the beginning? Do you really want to get to school with a level 20 Sprigatito?
You can.
And yeah, so yeah, I think I think I want to end this part of the discussion with listeners, watchers, like, what do you like in the beginning of the games? What are some examples of good games with good openings and games with bad openings? What are you looking for? And the next time you start a new game, of a game that is new to you, or you're just new game plus it or whatever, think about that opening and just think like, hey, yeah, what makes this a good or bad opening? What is the hook for this game? What makes me want to play more of this game?
Yeah.
So I think it's pretty fun.
Yeah. And come back and tell us.
Yes, tell us. Come into the Discord. Maybe we'll have a blog post you can comment on all that stuff.
And as an aspiring game designer, I would love to hear it, because that's just
good feedback for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like learning and, delving into it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's very fun.
Hearing other people's perspectives, because that's the whole it's the psychology of gaming. That's a whole nother topic we could get into one day.
Ooh, yeah, that'd be fun. I do want to know, like, I think it'll be very fun to. Oh, okay, wait, hold on. My brain is going faster than my mouth can word. I like the idea of this episode, because this is the first in at least a very long while that we've just kind of had let's talk about a topic in gaming. And I mean, we did the bare minimum preparing for this episode. Like, hey, spoilers, you couldn't tell. And I think it's fine. I think I like kind of off the cuff discussions a little bit. It's very, very, very natural, very fun. But as you continue to kind of do your game dev career advancement, it'd be really fun to have more of these things, have more of these discussions, get the community involved, because you're going to have a very different perspective from the game dev side versus, and of course, as well as the player side. But like, it'll be fun. It'll be fun to get that discussions happen. Those discussions happen.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'd enjoy that a lot.
Cool. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll think of the next one too. If you have any other ideas for like a cool topic of discussion, commenter, please comment. Let us know. What else is new? We have a little more time we can fill for the episode.
Anything else new? Good question.
I started playing Avowed. I'm within the first 2 hours of Avowed.
How is it?
Pretty good. So Avowed is Obsidian's new RPG. It's very Skyrim coded, but it is not Skyrim. It's not, from reviews that I've seen and people talking about it, streamers and YouTubers and whatnot, it's not as open world and like simmy as Skyrim is. It is a little more linear. There's a lot of open areas and you can do a lot of backtracking to do stuff, but there's not as much freedom in Skyrim, but it's not a bad thing necessarily, right? It's just a different game, different genre. And honestly, I'm like 45 minutes in, maybe. Okay. Still very much in that tutorial area. I'm pretty sure I'm approaching the end of the tutorial, because it's like, go find this boat, get off this island. So I think that's pretty tutorial. Yeah. Yep. And then I think it opens up. I just got my first little bit of magic, which is fun. People have said that the combat of the game is not groundbreaking, but pretty fun with a lot of the things you can do. And I see that so far. Yeah.
A lot of times it's like, it depends if it's the main focus of a game or not, but like sometimes you don't need a crazy combat system. You don't always need the groundbreaking things that make a good game, as long as it doesn't detract from the game.
Yeah.
That's always a big, especially like games like that and their combat systems. Like, as long as I don't realize it's bad, like I can be okay with it just being okay. Like, as long as it works.
This specific one seems like it again borrows heavily from Skyrim and like other RPGs that Obsidian has made.
Swing sword, shoot magic, shoot bow and arrow, like
very easy.
As long as they all work and do things, and
it seems like it's going to be a little more story focused for this game, which is pretty fun. I'm looking forward to it. I'll be chipping away at it for a long time. I got it with Xbox, Game Pass Ultimate, so I can play it on my PC I can play it on my Xbox.
Nice.
And I realize why I don't play on my Xbox because I don't like the controller lag. There's a palpable lag,
Really?
and it really shows in this game when I'm like just moving the camera. And I was like, that's why I don't play on controller.
Really?
I like mouse and keyboard more. Even like Steam Deck controller, at least is like the Bluetooth lag. So I gotta see if there's something funky going on. Maybe there's a setting I can change, or I don't know.
Wireless. I mean, wireless can always have a little bit of a lag.
Yeah. But like 2.5 gigahertz versus Bluetooth are there's a distinct speed difference in those. Like maybe there's a setting. I don't know. It's fun. It's fun so far, nonetheless, and it's very pretty. I kind of like the art style of the game. Is very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know there's one game I'm really looking forward to.
Which is?
Because trying to think, I can't remember the name of it now. It's that
you're looking forward to it so much.
Yeah. What? It's not. It's like It Takes Two. No, it's not. It Takes Two.
Is it the same studio?
The story. No, this the story. Maybe it is the same studio.
Hold on. I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I remember you played It Takes Two and you liked it a lot. They have a new game, Split Fiction.
Split Fiction, yes. That to me is such a cool concept.
Oh, it comes out less than a month.
Yeah, it comes out soon. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I think it's such a cool concept.
Sure.
I haven't seen much. I really looked into reviews because I'm just kind of going into it blind when it comes out.
That's probably very good. It's the same concept as It Takes Two and other games like that where you kind of need the two players.
Yeah.
This one, I think you go between fantasy and sci-fi.
Yeah, and it eventually starts blending the two genres because the story's based. Each one's a writer. One's a fantasy writer, and one's a sci-fi writer. And
very Alan Wake.
Something you get sucked into the story. Boom, start the game.
Yes.
But so like I said, I've kind of avoided reviews just because I liked the concept and the look. So I was just gonna play it when it comes out.
Sure. That makes sense. Going back to the beginnings of games, I would be remiss if I didn't say that I actually realized my brain is not wording. I would be remiss if I didn't say that I realized my two favorite openings of games. They're the same series, so it makes a lot of sense. But The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom have the best openings of games. I think it's so good. It's so concise. It's not concise. It's pretty long, both of them. The Great Plateau and what's it called in Tears of the Kingdom? Whatever it is. Both of them are quite long, but it goes through pretty much every part of the game, and you get to see a lot of cool stuff, and it's great. And it's very contained. It's self-contained in that area.
Yeah. And it's I'm thinking about back to originally playing Breath of the Wild, that could have almost been a game on its own.
Yes. And it introduces the story of the game smartly as well, right? Yes. You get to really see the beginning of it. You get in Tears of the Kingdom, you get the most of it after you get to that first town and you talk to Kira, I think is her name. Yeah. Then you get the kind of more of the story. My goodness. You get more of the story when you talk to her, which is great. But that's still within that first 2 hours. It's still the very beginning of the game, and I think those are great hooks. Those are just full of those gameplay narrative hooks.
Yeah.
Someone would have yelled at me if I didn't say that.
Yeah. No, I understand. Yeah. But that's another studio too. Team masterclass. They know what they're doing. At building a game, building a story, game flow. They're so good at it. Speaking of games coming out too, just looking another thing, Monster Hunter Wilds coming out.
Oh man, okay. Let's talk about Monster Hunter for a quick moment. Monster Hunter is one of those games that I think that I should like. I think actually I did enjoy my time when I played Rise. I have Worlds, I have Rise, and I don't know, I'm tempted. I'm very tempted to play Wilds because it's supposed to be really good. I might wait I might look at reviews and see what people say and then still probably check it out. I guess I'm not buying a house. I can buy another game. But yeah, no, it's one of those games where you need a group of people. I think it's you almost have to have that social aspect for this game. For me, at least, I should say.
Fair.
Because I know you can obviously play it by yourself, and
Yeah,
I did play Rise by myself, but
I didn't get into Rise as much.
Yeah, I also
Monster Hunter World, I was into that, and I played pretty much solo the whole time.
Really,
and it never had an issue.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I also, I've heard that people are comparing like Monster Hunter Wilds to the actual sequel to Worlds, and Worlds was the last like major game, and Rise was kind of like it was a game, and it was Monster Hunter, and it was like, but like a little subpar for what it is. Like maybe there's
a lot of that had to do with the Switch coming out for the Switch.
It did more for the Switch first, and that did hurt it. And I did play on Steam Deck, and it was better when it came out on the computer.
Yeah, go figure. But so like the biggest thing I've heard about Wilds, like I guess in a short little tidbit of it, is that it's Worlds, but with the verticality of
that
Rise.
could be really cool.
Yeah. So it's adding that dimension to it that Worlds didn't have. And because Worlds is a fantastic game if you never played it. It is an absolutely
like not new enough.
But it's not new person friendly. That's also one of the things with that game, and and like just the whole Monster Hunter, I feel like franchise. It's not very newcomer friendly, but it's rewarding.
It's like this is the one where people will like. This is we'll come into this one. It'll be the one because like what's nice about the Monster Hunter community is, from what I understand, they're all like, come play our game. Please play our game. We don't want people out. And like, I don't know, it is a very grindy
people
game.
will help you. Like, if you need help in a thing, you can just, have some randoms show up, and not too many people troll that I've noticed.
Yeah, I think that's it, right? There's not
purposely. Like, I mean, sometimes you're just not as good at the game and you're going to die and then mess somebody's hunt up, but whatever. It's not the end of the world kind of thing in these kind of games either, like because they're meant to be quick, like it's an extraction shooter.
It kind of is an extraction
it really
shooter.
is. You go in, you do a thing, you can get out.
It's arcadey, right? I like these games that have very that I'm gonna go do a hunt that's gonna take me 30 minutes. That's the game, right? Or like Marvel Rivals or Overwatch, you have those types of games where like I'm going to play a round or two. I know approximately what that's going to take in time. I like those. Have you benchmarked your computer for Wilds yet?
No, I haven't.
So they have on the Steam page, you can download a benchmark, which downloads the game or downloads the benchmark, and then it'll spend about 10 minutes. I think it took my computer 10 minutes. Maybe 5-10 minutes, whatever. But it was way too long to compile shaders for the game. Yeah. And then it does a test. And the test it does is both. It does some pre-rendered. It does like cinematic stuff, and then gameplay engine stuff. And then it gives you like, this is your average FPS. This is it has a score in the same way like 3D Mark does for other things. And this one has like DLSS and frame gen stuff in it too, right? So it has those cool features. And it was funny. I was in another Discord that I have from a bunch of college friends of mine. I'm trying to pull it up real quick. I did the benchmark. We're all kind of like doing the benchmark to see. Yeah. Because like some of my friends got like 5080s or whatever, and like new cards and whatnot.
So they went all out 5080s.
Yeah, they did. One of my friends did. And where's Monster Hunter? There's. Oh.
That was me.
What'd you do?
I was going to the Steam page.
Oh, I didn't hear anything.
I was going to download it after we got done.
Oh, but it messed up your thing.
The video started playing. I was like, what in the world?
Oh, it didn't come through. That's good. But I was looking at the scores, and let's see. So I have a 3080 Ti, 32 gigs of RAM, and a Ryzen 7 5800X processor. That's the base of my rig. I tested it on high settings, and got 68 FPS. Oh, and that's a 2K screen, so 1440p.
Yeah.
So 68 on high. On ultra with frame gen, that was with frame gen. On ultra, 63. And I'm like, okay, that's pretty good. And I'm like, well, what happens if I turn frame gen off? Turn frame gen, DLSS, all those things off. It's got a tank, right? Like it must be. No, 55 frames per second. So I get a whopping, 8 frames from frame gen? That's not, I mean, it's good, I guess. It gets you over 60. Yeah. But I don't know. Obviously, this is a game that it's going to show the age of your rig if you're not super up to date with some stuff. Yeah. And I also believe I heard that the benchmark is an older, less optimized build, so the number should only go up on release. Maybe
makes sense because it shouldn't be the final. Yeah, the final like optimized.
I mean, also on top of like. They're going to optimize stuff later. They'll update it. It'll be better.
Yep.
So, yeah, my computer can run it better than I thought it was going to, which is good. I can't wait to see the Steam Deck struggle with it if I buy it.
Or see the reviews. Put an ice pack on it.
Yeah. So, those are some cool things. Download that and let me know. Let me know if you after the benchmark if you're still going to get the game.
Yeah. No, I'll get on. I'll probably end up getting on PS5 anyway.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Like my computer goes through enough trying to run Unreal and all the time anyway.
Sure. I do. I am always too tempted to upgrade my computer at any given time. Any excuse, and I want to do it so bad.
Yeah, I just have my laptop, but it's got a 40. Was it 4060, 4080 in it?
Oh, good luck to you then.
Yeah.
It's still a laptop. Yeah. So, yeah, that'll be fun. If we get that game, or if I get that game, I'm sure it'll be fun, but I'm still quite hesitant because I just don't know. I fell off of Rise really hard, but I know people are going to play this one, and I want to see all my friends playing this game, and I'll be like, well, guess I got to play the game now. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Does it have crossplay? Could we play if you're on PS5 and I'm on PC?
I would think it does have crossplay. It's got to, right?
I don't know. Let's find out.
That's like the kind of becoming the norm, isn't it? Like
maybe.
No, we can figure that out though.
Okay, I can't find it by quickly scanning the Steam page. Nonetheless, hey, is that an episode? Are we done?
I think that's an episode.
I think we just realized we're talking about games. Well, hold on. That's the whole podcast is talking about games.
Yeah. Thanks for hanging out.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for listening, watching. We appreciate you greatly. Let's do the ending things and then whatever. Let us know what you think about the beating of games, right? It is a neat concept to think about as you are playing games and you think about the things that go into the art of making video games, right? These different disparate aspects of it. And you can kind of think like, oh, wow, I appreciate this medium more, or I know what to look for, or I'm just going to play the game, right? There, whatever you want to do. It's your time. It's your video games. I'm just there. We thank you for listening to us ramble about stuff.
Yeah.
So anyway, speaking about us rambling, we have been the Game Corner. We'd like to thank RobKTA for the use of our theme song, Goldenrod Game Corner, off the Ultraball album. I have been Harrison. You can find me at @row_xn on Twitter. You can find me at rowxn.gamecorner.gg on Blue Sky and other places. Just row_xn is that's how you find me. Hopefully soon. Like depending on how some timing stuff goes and my life schedule, I want to get a video out that's not a podcast on the channel very soon. It is in production. It's in editing, but boy, is it a lot.
Very exciting.
Yeah, there's a lot there that we gotta finish. And then once I do that, I'm going to move on to the next one. But yeah, that's me. Sheldon, who are you?
I'm Sheldon. You can find me at Captain Unova pretty much everywhere If it's not that, Captain_Unova in other places. But yeah.
Yes, and together we've been the Game Corner. You can find us at gamecorner.gg on Blue Sky. You can find us at gamecorner.bgc.
Yeah.
I think that's it on Twitter and
or
all
just
the
go
places.
to gamecorner.gg.
At gamecorner.gg. Yeah, sorry.
Check out our website.
Yeah, gamecorner.gg. Links for all of our stuff. The Patreon, if you want to support us there, thank you all for doing that. The Discord, if you want to come chat and say hi and get notifications of when we decide to do anything. And just whatever, everything we do is in the link tree down below. But comment, say hi. We appreciate you. Like, follow, subscribe on YouTube, all that fun stuff that I guess you're supposed to say at this point in time. But the most important thing that we like to say is that no matter what you decide to play, press start and game on. Bye.